Malik Monk, I think we know where this question's going. Can he make it into that top 3 6 man of the year voting? Can he win it? What does it come down to you?
I mean, come on. It's consistency. I mean, he could have won it last year if he just played consistently the whole year. I'm not talking about like the games he had in like game 1 against the Warriors or that game he had against the Clippers where the Kings scored like 176 points. It's just like, dude, like just don't like when you have a bad game, just don't have it be like 1 for 10, which is like 2 assists. It's like, it's just consistency. I've said it all year or all last season. He's just like the definition of streaky. I mean, when that dude's on a roll, he's on a freaking roll, and he doesn't even need to keep it up to that effect, the whole season. But man, when he's cold, that dude cannot hit the broadside of a bar, and it's hard to watch sometimes. It's like, so I mean, it's just gonna fall down to consistency, and just not having those really terrible games in a row. Because he has a stretch of them in a row, and it's just like, dude, you're shooting yourself in your foot. So, I mean, I guess just consistency.
Yeah, and I think something I was thinking about is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like late December into the first part of January, talking about some of the cold spells. I think one of the things that was mixed in with that was I think Malik Monk might even sat a game or two due to injury, and I know he was listed on the injury report a few times through a few week period. And Mike Brown talked about him being banged up here and there. And of course, guys get banged up throughout the season. They're playing through certain injuries and little nicks here or there. But Malik Monk's a small guy. He's not tall. He's not extremely broad, or he doesn't have a big frame. And he had a role. I mean, you heard him say a lot, especially early on, when people are like, man, this guy's getting 4 assists off the bench every game. Nobody expected that. And he talks about how Mike Brown's kind of allowed him to play a certain way. So maybe there's like an adjustment period where he just needed to get a season playing to that, extent. But I think a part of it might just be, is he physically able to maintain that kind of level of play, that effort throughout a season? He didn't miss substantial time. Obviously, he was, in terms of availability, he was good, but guys play through a lot. I almost feel like it kind of comes down to, of course, it does come down to consistency, but a part of staying consistent might just kind of come down to physical sustainability, which, talking about depth and stuff like that, that could be mitigated pretty easily, considering the fact that obviously I think Monk's going to have the role that he had last season. When he, like you said, when he's on, he really looks like one of the top 5 players on the team when he's on. But cold spells and stuff like that, there'll be more opportunities for other guys to kind of get in there and handle the ball, maybe like Duarte, depending on the steps Mitchell takes this season. That will hopefully help Monk kind of maintain that consistency and that stability and sustainable kind of efforts throughout the year. But it'll be interesting from him. I mean, it's one of those things where when your question is, can you be good enough to be in the top 3 for 6 man of the year or take the award home? Because I think he was 5th in voting. It's like not too many concerns about Monk, but that consistency thing I think is always going to come up, and that's the key to him.